when asked what he thought of this payment card. From a municipal aspect, we actually find such a payment card very good. It is an additional tool to manage and limit the topics of migration, integration, and taxes. What would be important to you in order for the project to be successful? Such a payment card, no matter what you call it, should serve various functions. Firstly, it should be as universal as possible across the country. At the very least, it should be compatible. That's the first requirement. It should be expandable to accommodate the data that can be stored on it. It should not stigmatize and should prevent misuse. How can we ensure that it does not stigmatize? Simply by making it visually indistinguishable from other debit or check cards, etc., so that you can't tell from the outside which card someone is holding. And what do you mean by it should allow more data to be stored? So there's an agreement, like you pointed out in the introduction, regarding which data and functions are currently supposed to be taken over. But later on, we could easily envision this card having the ability to identify you, that it can validate or confirm your education, your level of school completion, your residency status, and hence, one shouldn't limit oneself in the technical possibilities at the start. You do mention that the municipalities have hit their performance limit. Could such a payment card help to provide short-term relief? I believe so. It just has to be easy for the authorities to load money onto it. Up until now, the system has been such that if cash needs to be paid out, then the cash has to be obtained from the authorities, from the immigration authorities. There can be queues at the authorities when it's paid out, and this payout, this loading of the card, of course, needs to be easy, and that saves time and effort. There are also critics of the payment card. The Berlin Refugee Council, for example, says that this is a discriminatory and paternalistic instrument that massively interferes with people's right to self-determination. What do you think? There are currently model projects both in Hamburg and Hanover, and just now in Hanover, the Lower Saxony Refugee Council has said that this is a good system. It's not stigmatizing if it's designed sensibly, that you have a conformity, that you can't distinguish which card has which group of people, and that's why I think it's a good attempt and a building block, a piece of the mosaic, to make good progress on integration. Another argument against this is also heard in Berlin, where it said that introducing the payment card would probably cost the state of Berlin 10 million euros every year, money that could also be invested in integration instead. You have to take a long-term view. If we switch from benefits in kind, if we switch from cash benefits to benefits in kind, to a payment card, then we have to invest and contribute something at the beginning. But in the long run, of course, we should also save time, effort, and money throughout the entire process through digitization and this changeover if we do this as uniformly as possible nationwide. I believe also save time. We now have the examples of Berlin, we have Hamburg, Hanover, we've mentioned them. What has to happen so that it really works nationwide? Well, almost all states have declared their willingness to participate in a nationwide tender. Bavaria is conducting its own tender, Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania is still considering it. The only important thing is that as many as possible participate in a nationwide tender. And if there are separate parts for the federal states, then the cards should at least be compatible with one another so that there is no displacement effect and everything is comparable.